Hello, and welcome to this video tutorial on how to use the PeopleSoft timesheet for student employees. In this video, we will be covering the basics of entering time in the timesheet. In this video, we will be discussing how the timesheet is laid out, how to enter time on the timesheet, how to review your hours, and how to troubleshoot basic problems you might encounter. This video assumes you have logged in through your portal and clicked on the timesheet link. After clicking on the timesheet, a second login using your NetID and password will be required. If you have multiple jobs, you may see something like this appear. Choose the job's working title which you would like to enter the time for to continue. Please note that if you see lump sum as an option, you do not need to enter that time for the job, as it is not paid on an hourly basis, and doing so will not affect your pay. If you do not have multiple jobs, you will skip this step. You should see a page similar to this one. You will see your name, employee ID, and employee record number up above. You will also see a range of dates for the current pay period by default. You may also switch your range of view. You may view a single day, a full pay period, or a single week. We will first be going over an example of a work shift without taking a meal break. In the first box, you will enter the time that you arrived at work. Let's say that you started work at 8 a.m. You would enter that here. You can enter this as 8:008 a.m., 8 a.m., or 0800. Do not enter the time you leave in either of the center boxes. These boxes are reserved for meal break times. In the last box, you will enter the time that you departed from work. Let's say that you left work at 1 p.m. We will enter that here. Again, we could enter that as 1:00 p.m., 1 p.m., or 1300 as military time. The next example will be of a shift with a meal break taken. In the first box, you will enter the time that you arrived at work. Let's say that you started work at 10 a.m. You would enter that here. In the second box, you will enter the time that you left for your meal break. Let's say that you left for your meal break at noon. You would enter that here. In the third box, you will enter the time that you returned from your meal break. Let's say that you returned to work at 1 p.m. You would enter that here. In the last box, you will enter the time that you left for the day. Let's say that you left work at 3 p.m. You would enter that here. If you came back to work later that night to work another shift without a meal break, you would need to add a second line by clicking the plus sign at the end of the line. You would then enter the time you worked your additional shift in the left and right most boxes. If you work over midnight, you will also need to do something a little special. You would enter time in the leftmost box on the day that your shift started. So let's say that you started working at 10 p.m. You would enter that here. You would then go to the following day and enter your out punch in the rightmost box. And we're assuming you left at 2 a.m. You would enter that here. Let's say that this is all the time that you've worked up until now. This time has not been submitted at this point. When you have finished entering your time, you will need to scroll down and submit it. Once you've submitted the time, the system will take a moment to process. Now that the time has been submitted, you can review the accuracy of the hours. You will see how many hours you have entered on each line in the column. You will also notice that the status has changed to submitted. You will also see that you have now a total of hours calculated above underreported hours. Once you are finished entering and reviewing your time, always remember it's important to sign out so that no one else makes changes to your information. If you are unable to enter the time because your fields are grayed out and this is your first week of work, try entering your start date in the date field. For this employee, their start date was 11/5, so we will enter 11/5 in the date field. And change the view by field to week or day. You should then be allowed to enter time. You will only have to do this for the timesheet that includes your start date. All future timesheets will work normally. If at any time you had problems with any of these steps, please talk with your direct supervisor or your payroll coordinator. Many of the topics covered here are also available in the document format on the HRS knowledge base. The link in the description will take you to that document. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.